The sun hung low over the endless stretch of desert, painting the sky in shades of amber and gold. Samuel Crawford stood at the edge of his ranch, his weathered hands resting on the fence post as he watched 5 Apache women approach on horseback. Behind them, an older Apache man rode with the bearing of someone accustomed to authority. Samuel had been ranching in this territory for 8 years now, and in all that time, he had maintained a cautious but respectful distance from the Apache tribes that still moved through these lands. He traded fairly when trade was needed, never crossed into their sacred grounds, and made sure his cattle didn't foul their water sources. It was an unspoken agreement that had kept the peace. But this visit was different. This was formal. The women dismounted with practiced grace, their traditional doeskin dresses adorned with intricate beadwork that caught the fading light. Each wore their hair in the traditional style, faces painted with the ceremonial markings Samuel had seen only once before, at a peace gathering years ago. The elder Apache man, whom Samuel recognized as Chief Nantai, remained mounted, his dark eyes assessing the rancher with an intensity that made Samuel straighten his spine. Samuel Crawford. The chief spoke in heavily accented but clear English. "We come with a proposal of great importance." Samuel nodded respectfully, gesturing toward his ranch house. "Please, let's speak inside where there's shade and water." The chief shook his head. "This matter must be discussed here, under the open sky where the spirits can witness our words." A knot of apprehension formed in Samuel's stomach, but he nodded. "Of course. I'm listening." Chief Nantai gestured to the 5 women. "These are daughters of our tribe. Strong women. Skilled in medicine, tracking, preparing food, making shelter, raising children. Each has passed all the trials of womanhood. Each brings honor to our people." Samuel listened, confused about where this was leading. "Our tribe grows smaller each year," the chief continued, his voice heavy with a sadness that transcended language barriers. "The white man's diseases take our children. The treaties push us onto smaller lands where game is scarce. Our young men die in battles trying to protect what little remains. We need alliances. We need our bloodlines to continue." Understanding crashed over Samuel like a cold wave. His mouth went dry. "You are a man of honor," Chief Nantai said. "You respect our ways. You trade fairly. You do not steal our land or poison our water. My people have watched you. We offer you a great honor. Choose one of these women as your wife. The alliance between your family and our tribe would bring strength to both our peoples." The 5 women stood in a line, their faces stoic but their eyes betraying flickers of emotion, uncertainty, fear, resignation, hope. Samuel felt the weight of their gazes, the enormity of what was being asked, what was being offered. "Chief Nantai," Samuel began carefully, his voice thick with respect and discomfort. "I am deeply honored by this offer. The honor you show me. I don't have words for it." He paused, gathering his thoughts, knowing his next words would be crucial. "But I cannot accept." A ripple of shock went through the group. The women's eyes widened. The chief's expression hardened. "You refuse." There was danger in those 2 words. "Please let me explain," Samuel said quickly, raising his hands in a peaceable gesture. "In my culture, marriage is a choice made freely by both the man and the woman. It's based on knowing each other, on friendship that grows into something deeper. These women, they're brave, they're beautiful, they're clearly strong and capable. Any man would be fortunate to earn the love of such a woman." He looked at each of the 5 women in turn. "But they don't know me. I don't know them. We don't speak the same language easily. We don't share the same beliefs about the world. To take one of them as my wife without her truly choosing me, without us having the chance to see if our hearts could meet, that would be wrong. It would dishonor them and dishonor the sacred bond of marriage." "You speak of luxury we do not have," the chief said coldly. "My people are dying. These women need protection, need children to carry on our ways. You refuse this." "I'm not refusing to help your people," Samuel said firmly. "I'm refusing to use marriage as a transaction. There has to be another way." One of the women, the tallest with eyes like dark storms, suddenly spoke in Apache. Her voice was steady but Samuel could hear the emotion beneath it. The chief listened, his expression unreadable, then translated. Kaya says you shame her. Says you find Apache women unworthy of a white man's touch. No. Samuel protested. That's not. But Kaya was speaking again, her words coming faster now, and Samuel saw tears beginning to track down her cheeks even as her voice remained strong. The other women joined in, their voices rising, and Samuel realized with horror that they were breaking down, not from relief but from a pain he hadn't anticipated. The chief held up his hand for silence. When he spoke again, his voice was heavy with a weariness that seemed to age him before Samuel's eyes. You do not understand what you have done. These women volunteered for this. They knew they would be leaving their people, leaving everything they know. They prepared themselves for months. They performed the purification ceremonies. They said goodbye to their families, knowing they might never see them again. They did this not because they wanted to, but because they loved their people enough to sacrifice everything for them. He gestured to the weeping women. And now you have told them their sacrifice means nothing. You have told them they are not even worthy of being accepted when freely offered. In our culture, this is a rejection deeper than you can understand. You have not just refused a political alliance, you have told these brave women that they are not enough. Samuel felt like he'd been punched in the gut. Chief Nantai, I never meant. Intentions do not matter when the harm is done, the chief interrupted. But perhaps there is wisdom in your words that I did not see at first. You speak of choice, of hearts meeting. These are not Apache ways, but perhaps they should be considered. He turned to the women and spoke at length in Apache. Samuel watched as expressions shifted. Confusion, then thoughtful consideration, then something that might have been cautious hope. Kaya, the tall woman who had first spoken, wiped her tears and addressed Samuel directly in halting English. You want know us? Before decide. Samuel nodded eagerly. Yes. If there's to be any alliance between us, it should be built on friendship first. Real friendship, where we learn about each other. Another woman, smaller with quick intelligent eyes, spoke up. You teach us your ways. We teach you our ways. Exactly, Samuel said, feeling the tension begin to ease. If friendship grows, maybe something more could grow. But it has to be real. It has to be chosen by both sides. The chief was quiet for a long moment, then nodded slowly. This is unusual. It is not our way. But our way is dying, and perhaps new ways must be found. Very well. These women will camp near your ranch. You will spend time together. Learn each other's languages. Share skills and knowledge. If any one of them chooses you, and you choose her in return, then we will speak of marriage. But this choosing must be true, not forced. Thank you, Samuel said with genuine relief. I promise I'll treat them with honor and respect. You had better, the chief said with a hint of steel in his voice. Because if you dishonor any of them, the peace between us will end in ways you will not enjoy. Over the following months, something unexpected happened. The 5 Apache women, Kaya, Amma, Desba, Shurya, and Tyanada, set up their camp near Samuel's ranch, and a strange new relationship began to form. Samuel taught them more English. They taught him Apache. He showed them how he ran his ranch. They showed him tracking skills and plant medicine that amazed him. Kaya, it turned out, had a fierce sense of humor once the formal barriers came down. Amma could outshoot any cowboy Samuel had ever met. Desba had a gift for healing that saved 2 of his cattle from sickness. Shurya could read weather signs like they were written in a book. And Tyanata could gentle the wildest horse with patience and intuition. They weren't potential wives being evaluated. They became friends. They became part of the ranch's daily life. They taught Samuel's ranch hands Apache techniques for finding water and tracking game. Samuel helped them trade their craftwork in town, standing up to any merchant who tried to cheat them. 6 months later, when Amma and Samuel realized their friendship had deepened into something more, their wedding was attended by both Apache and white settlers. It wasn't a political alliance. It was a genuine union of 2 people who had chosen each other freely. The other 4 women eventually found their own paths. Kaya married an Apache warrior who had survived a recent battle. Desba chose to remain single and became a renowned healer who treated both Apache and settlers. Shurya and Tyanada started a trading business together that became quite successful. But the real victory was something deeper. By refusing to accept what seemed like a generous offer, by insisting on dignity and choice, Samuel had accidentally helped both cultures find a better way forward. Not through forced alliances or sacrificial marriages, but through genuine respect, patience, and the radical idea that everyone, Apache or white, man or woman, deserved the right to choose their own path. Years later, Samuel would tell his children the story of how their mother came into his life. How the greatest honor isn't in being offered something valuable, but in having the courage to say, "Not like this," and finding a better way. A way where nobody has to sacrifice their dignity for survival, where alliance grows from friendship rather than desperation.